Hello everyone, welcome back to another JCTCG video where we talk market, Pokemon collecting, and just overall making better places get to it. In this video, I'm going to be going over a list of cars and just give out my honest opinion on whether I would buy them, pass on them, or just add them to a watch list, right? So shout out to It's Just Mike for sending us this list, and let's get straight to it. Quick note, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support this very small channel, I would truly appreciate if you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to help us grow. Follow me on this journey as we progress and get better and learn from each other. So today I am going to be going over the sell-through, the price, where it was, and what I think about it. Now, just a quick reminder that this is just my opinion. Everyone's situation is different, so this is not going to be financial advice. You know, do your own research and follow through. First card on the list is going to be Shining Mew from Shining Legends in a PSA 10. So eBay is actually showing 21 listings, right? It seems like this is going around 1,400 to 1,500. We have a couple of auctions ready to end pretty soon. The PSA 10 pop is roughly 33.74 out of 11,591. So fairly difficult to get, fairly difficult to grade it a 10. Here we have the averages of the prices and what it was selling during specific weeks, right? And in August 25th, 2025, this was selling for roughly $600. It was very stagnant, right? Just in a range from 408 to 600. This is an outlier here, so we're not counting that. Then it just went insane, right? So seems like right now this is establishing a base. However, me personally, right, I really like to buy cars that are in a downtrend and not in an uptrend, right? With that being said, this car sells very consistent, right? Even at this price, just 1,500 last sale, is that an all-time high? That is also an all-time high. Okay, so this car is just going insane. Okay, so actually it was not an all-time high because we have one down here for 1,800. So the fact that this car right now is going for roughly $1,400 to $1,300 is fairly liquid even at this price range. My price memory of this car is stopping me from buying it at this price, right? Because I've seen this car plenty of time around the 500 range. In fact, I ended up selling mine in the 1,200 range, and just seeing it now even higher, like me personally, if I was to speculate on this car, it would only be because it's a Mew, right? There's a lot of sales. I'm not a buyer at this range. I think I will be a buyer around $800 to $900. That's just my opinion. If you're looking at this car from a collector's perspective and you don't really care, maybe it could be a purchase. However, I'll still encourage to just maybe just wait it out and see where this price kind of establishes at. It seems like is establishing a base here. Maybe wait a couple of months and just see what happens. Next, we have Charizard from Legendary Treasure in a PSA 9 reverse holo. So this is one of those cars that there's just not that many listings, right? So my first assumption is that this car might appeal to collectors. They're not pulling any reverse holos, right? When I go look into the PSA pop, it's around 143, right? Which is fairly rare. There are only 15 10s. The sell-through of this card, there's barely any sales data for this card. Me personally, if I was to find this car around this price, 267, 300, I think I would be a buyer around this range, right? I would not pay astronomical, made up comps for this card. Just my opinion. But at this price, I'm a buyer. Next, we have Togepi from Southern Island, CGC 9.5. Now, this was a very specific grade, and no listings showed up for a 9.5, which is very interesting, right? We are only pulling 8.5s. We have a pristine here. if we go into the sales data, look at this chart. This is all over the place. And then we had some spikes up here. Me personally, if I'm looking into this chart, I will want to buy somewhere around here, right? It was sitting stagnant at this price for about a month. If we look into the sales data, this doesn't sell very often, right? You might have one every month or two every month, and it seems like whenever it does come into the market, it's automatically like it's snap buy, right? So with that being said, if you are looking to speculate on this card, I think I'm a buyer if it's somewhere in between the $400 to maybe $500, right? Like I would not become a buyer up here at 900, which could potentially be a new comp. So for me, a buyer for 25, pass at 900. Next, Charizard from Radiant Collection in a PSA 10. I'm gonna say I'm a real big fan of this artwork, right? Really love this depiction of Charizard. Now the thing here is there's not that many of these listings, right? There's 4 listings coming up right now for a PSA 10. One of these is a 2 cert, which is, you know, fine, whatever. If we look into the population, there's 433 out of 8,100, right? So this is really difficult to find in a 10. Look into the sales history. We have one selling about every week, which is very interesting, right? So fairly liquid card for what it is. This is a different language, right? So it's an outlier. So me personally, looking at this data, right, I think I'm a buyer of this card given the lower population. The price seems to be established, right? Like we don't have anything going crazy. We're not buying up here. I think I'm a buyer around this range, right? If you can get this for 12 to 1,300 at most, maybe, right? If you can find it cheaper, it's even better. But I'm a buyer at that range. This will be a buy for me. Next, we have Team Rocket's Tyranitar. This is a pre-released staffed stamp. I have about 22 listings showing up. I'm a real big fan of this Cosmo Hollow pattern, right? Like really big fan. So I said that's a plus for me. I remember this coming in a pack with, I believe it's the Gyarados and Eden's Typhlosion. So all 3 of them, really cool. Population for this is 670 out of 1227, which is about 50% gem rate. We go into the sales data. Seems to be just going sideways, right? Like it found a range and it's just there, right? This is just ranging, except for probably when it was released. Fairly liquid card, right? Like it selling multiple a month. I think I'm a buyer at this price. If you can find anything around 350 to 400, I'm a buyer. Next, Team Rocket's Articuno, right? This is a Best Buy exclusive. See, multiple listings in the 200 to 50 range, right? This is a fairly cheaper card. If we look into the population, it's 1150 out of 21, so 50% gem rate, a little higher in the population here. And if we look into the range, into the selling range, right, it's just ranging again. It's been selling pretty consistent. Something that I'm noticing with the prices, right? Every time you auction this, it goes way lower than when I buy it now, right? So you have to keep in mind that if you were to ever sell this card, you can't auction it. So if you are desperate to get rid of this card, you might be better on a buy listing, and that is because maybe this is only appealing to certain collectors, right? Like Articuno is not that much of like Articuno is not too popular in comparison to like Mew, right, or Mewtwo. So with that being said, this being a Best Buy exclusive, the buyer for this card is also more niche. If you can find this on an auction at this price, 110, 100, 81, right? I'm a buyer at this price. Next, we have Eden's Typhlosion, which is another pre-release staff stamp. This artwork is phenomenal. It's with the hollow Cosmo pattern, plus. We go into the pop, 700, right? So a little above 50%. Sell through for this seems to be going the same, just ranging. All right, sell through seems to be fine. Auctions seems to be ending similar to market, maybe a little bit low, right? So there's no discount to be had in auctions. Look for auctions. So I think if you find this between latest auction 375 and 400, that's a good buy, right? 420 at best. I think I'm a buyer of this card. I know staff stamp appeal to a different pool of buyers, but if you can find this at a good price, I'm a buyer. Next, 029 Rayquaza Black Star promo. Now I know this card because this was a $2 card, right? There were so many of these on Sea and Sky boxes. I had so many of these, multiple CGC pristine copies, multiple PSA copies, which I did not know this was selling for this price because I let go of all my stuff at around $200, $250. This is a phenomenal artwork of Rayquaza. Population for this is 4,100 out of 11,420. Right, so a little difficult to grade. We go into the listings. This sells very consistent. So price memory affects me on this one here because, like I said, this was super cheap, super cheap. This is sell for around $110. Right now, we're seeing sales in the 320 to 389. Okay. This is a fairly liquid card, right? It sells very often. It might be worth taking a shot at, right? If you can find this somewhere between 280, maybe even 250. If you can get this for 250, I think that's great. We have a sale here at 260 on August 4th, so not that long ago. So maybe you can go based on this too and try to see if you can pick it up for that price. At 260, I'm a buyer. At 380, I'm not. All right, so this is one of those that it depends on the price. If I wanted to just collect, this is an amazing card. I would definitely buy this if I was a collector. With that being said, once again, shout out to It's Just Mike. Thank you for sending this list. This is just my opinion, right? Do some more research if you are looking to purchase any of these cards. This is not a financial advice. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. If you have a list of cards that you want to send my way and want me to take a look into it and make it into a video, send them through. Truly appreciate any support. So, peace.